Alright, hello friends, it's TJ and this is MisterWah, and welcome to another SplinterCell Blacklist Ghost and Undetected walkthrough on the Perfectionist difficulty. Today we're going to be doing the SafeHouse level, which is the first level, and this one is actually probably my favorite level. It was a really good start to the story, and I'm really enjoying it, especially going through it on Ghost and Perfectionist because it is very challenging, and we're just going to get right into it today, and I'm going to show you guys the gear that I would highly recommend while going through this. Basically, you're going to need to follow this gear exactly, or else you won't really be able to follow the guide. Now, of course, considering this is a non-lethal guide, you're going to obviously need to have the crossbow, and the most important ones on this list that I'm going to show you are the sticky cam and the sleeping gas. These ones are completely crucial, as well as the tri-rotor. Sticky cam and sleeping gas we both need. The sticky cam also needs to have the upgrade that makes it so it can emit a sleeping gas as well, because there are a lot of grouped people in this level that we need to take out at the same time for the extra points so we can master Ghost. Now, the first thing you want to do is just make sure that you're switched over to your stun weapon instead of your lethal one, and take out the sticky camera. We're going to throw it at these first two guys here and press A to emit the gas, and then we're going to do the same thing actually to the next two guys, just making sure that we get it close enough to both of them so it takes out both of them at the same time. Now, you can actually bypass these two guys if you feel like you just want to save the sticky camera just in case things get into a tough situation later on, or you just don't feel like killing them. I don't know, it's really up to you. You can do what you want, but we do it here for the extra points so we can master Ghost for sure on this level. Now, you're going to want to take out your sleeping gas for the next part, because we're coming up on these two guys that we're actually going to ignore and just go to the right, where we're going to go out onto the balcony and wait for this one guy to actually go inside with the rest of the people, and you have to actually be really quick and timed with this one. This one is actually a really risky thing to do. You don't have to do it, but you have to be really careful, but you can jump up over the balcony and then throw a sleeping gas in there and get every single person in there. Now, sometimes one of the guys that we saw originally will actually walk into the room, sometimes he won't. If he does, you just shoot him like I do here, and then you move on, and you don't have to actually do this. You can bypass these guys, but I recommend doing it because it gets you a lot of points. After that, we only have 3 more targets left in this area. We want to actually take out the first guy just by climbing up here in the window and meleeing him, and then the next two guys, we're actually just going to shoot them both really quickly because we will have enough ammo for later on. This is pretty difficult because once you shoot the first guy, the second guy can catch on and he goes all crazy. You just have to have good aim, and just takes a couple times sometimes to try and figure it out with the harder crosshair. It's a different crosshair than the gun. It's hard to get used to, but it's quite simple to do. Now, here we're coming up on the spot where we're going to use up our last sleeping gas, so this one is actually why it was crucial we needed these things, because we're going to use it all up and you have to use it here. We're actually just going to sneak up here and do the cover to cover action and take out this one guy by hand, and then quickly throw the sleeping gas into the big group of everyone, where we will then trigger the cutscene and move on to the next part. Now, this next part's pretty easy. It's basically all hand-to-hand stuff from here on out. We're actually just going to have to shoot this one guy here, though, and then there's 2 guys up on the balcony that you can actually get with the tri-rotor. You don't have to. That is optional. I don't do it because I want to save the tri-rotor ammo because we do need it for later, so I would recommend not doing it because it isn't necessary. And we're going to move over onto this zipline part. Now, on the zipline, I basically just spam X the entire way down, because all we want to do is just knock this guy out at the bottom, and when you do knock him out, you have to be careful because you actually have to hide his body, or else you will get detected later on, and you'll get some Panther points instead of Ghost, and it'll ruin the entire thing. You have to hide this guy's body because we're going to completely avoid one of the guys who actually comes up to this area. Now, after you've hidden the body, you want to just climb over this little area to the left, and we're going to hang off the edge of the building here, and we actually just wait for this one guy to come over, and I take him out after he gets past this little box area. I take him out just by hand to hand, and then we're going to climb all the way over to the left and run over to get to the edge of the next building as quickly as possible. Now, we have 3 more guys to take out. All of them are going to be hand-to-hand, so it's quite easy. This first guy, obviously, on the edge of this building, and then the next guy, we have to actually get really quickly over to him because he's on the next edge of the building. We're going to just wait for him, and we're going to take him out hand-to-hand too. And then all you do is climb up, and then you run up behind the next guy, and you take him out, and you climb over to where you're going to see a high-value target for the 4th guy, actually, in this area. So at the high value target, you'll notice that we got 2 undisturbed enemies that we left behind, and basically all you want to do is just wait for the target to turn around because he's on his cell phone. You open up the window and you jump in and just melee him, and then we're going to move on to the next set of guys. So I usually just run right up to this guy who's banging on the door and just take him out from behind. Sometimes you will accidentally kick the door, but it doesn't make a difference. You actually just have to spam X and then you take him out from behind. And then we wait here by this corner for the next guy to come. He saw the dead body here. It doesn't matter. Most of the time they don't see the dead body and he just comes over anyway. And then we'll move on to the third guy who's crouched over in the next room, and you take him out from behind as well. And then you move all the way over to where you get to a staircase, and you have to do an aerial knockout on this last guy here, where then we will move on to the next set of 2 guys in the next section who are incredibly easy as well. Now these next 2 guys always do something different. Sometimes one of them will be right in front of the entrance to the garage. You just have to go up and hand-to-hand both of them. One of them will usually be inside of the store, and sometimes they do actually both talk to each other. You can wait it out, and they will always actually depart, and you just have to hand-to-hand both of these guys, and we're going to climb over to where you're going to the next area, where we're coming up to actually a guard dog, which I completely despise the dogs in this game. I hate them so much, and we're actually just going to shoot this one from as far away as possible so he doesn't start barking. Now this next part I have to say is all over the place. It can be quite easy if you can do it correctly, and if you can get past the second guard dog that we have to deal with, which this one is a really big pain. But we're just going to wait here, and you take out this first guy after these guys finish having their conversation. That's the same every time. And then I just kind of try to hand-to-hand every single person that comes out into this parking lot. There's always one guy who comes over near this big white van. I hand-to-hand him first, and then sometimes the second one will be over to the left going back to the gate, because we did actually have to hide the body there just in case the guy does come back to where they were having the conversation. And then I actually take out the tri-rotor and try and deal with the dog when it comes through the door back into this street area, because the dog, it's impossible to be able to get a shot on this dog without someone seeing. It's really difficult. So we use the tri-rotor here. We haven't used it yet, so we do have a lot of ammo to save for later. You use the tri-rotor and you just take the dog out, and you can mark everyone else, and then we're going to climb into the area that has actually a lot of people who you can do hand-to-hand kills on, or you don't have to. I actually decide to wait for some of them to be able to get the hand-to-hand kills, because we are trying to get the extra points so we can master Ghost for this level. Most of the people are actually kind of off in groups, and I try to avoid them, so then I just get the first hand-to-hand kill, and I go all the way around and climb the building, drop down, where you can actually get this one other guy quite easily, but I decided to just leave him and move on to the next part. Now this next part's quite easy. Again, it's all just hand-to-hand kills, taking them out from behind and trying to stay undetected. I just jump over this first little area to the left, and make sure you stay up close to the wall, because there will be 2 guys looking through that window right away. And then we just go up to this corner and wait for a guy who, it seems like he's not going to come, but he does come after a while. Wait for him and you take him out, and then we're going to open the door and try and stay as hidden as possible, take out the next 2 guys, and then there will be one last guy who's just near the staircase who we're actually going to take out as well. Really easy part to go through that, all hand-to-hand. So I'd like to point out this entire time we've saved up our ammo for our stun gun, which I did recommend the crossbow at the start, and we've also saved up our ammo for the tri-rotor. We've only used it once on the dog so far, but we're trying to do all hand-to-hand kills, because we do actually need all of that stuff for the rest of the level. After we take out these 3 last guys, we have to go up to where we actually need to save Coben in the interrogation room. Now, once you go through the cutscene where Coben's getting shocked and completely just screwed up, all you have to do is take out the tri-rotor, and this part can be very tricky. It does take a couple tries sometimes, but it doesn't matter. All you have to do is just fly up through the little window above the door, make sure you're not in line of sight at anyone, just kind of try and scope it out, and you have to quickly shoot all 3 people, and like I said, it does take a couple tries, but it's quite easy. After that, you just move on to the next part, where we're going to have to make sure that right once you switch over to having Coben right next to you, you have to make sure you switch over to your crossbow, because it does sometimes default back to the pistol. And we're just going to shoot the next 3 guys, and we're going to escape the police station. This is really basically the end of the entire video, everyone, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you liked the tutorial. I just want to give one more little tip here. When you're using the crossbow, if you're not close enough for the crosshairs to actually turn red, they will actually turn a different shade of white when you're looking at someone. There's the last little tip so you can get better aiming with the crossbow, because we did have to shoot a couple people through this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and get ready for next upcoming levels throughout the entire series, because I will be doing guides for all of them. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you managed to do it on Perfectionist, unlocked the Master Ghost, and I will see you guys all later. So goodbye, everybody.